Jules, regarding this being the beginning for this squad, so talk us through a little about the infrastructure that Morocco have put in place and the links with French football there as well, and how that will help Moroccan football in the future. Because I know the Champions League winners in Africa are also from Morocco, and the equivalent of the Europa League winners are also from Morocco. So how do you see that happening in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, you're right. It's not just the success of this team. It's also, as you said, at club level. What Casablanca, when Regragui, by the way, was the manager, the head coach, won the Champions League. They also won the AFCON for players who played in the country. So you're not allowed to have players who play in Europe, for example. And they also won that. It shows that they're right now doing a great job within the country in terms of the academies that they had, club level, like forming players. And it started really around 10 years ago when they created the Mohammed VI, so the King Mohammed VI Academy, which they've put a lot of money in, a lot of effort as well. Nasser Larguet, who used to be the Marseille head of academy, kind of created it and built it all, structured it all. He's a very respected man in football, in North African football and in French football. And he's had great ideas. And it's basically, if you think about the Clairefontaine that we have in France, or even St. George's Park to England, it's an amazing complex, like highest, like super modern with everything that you need there. And then they're starting having those generations and producing those kids, and Niziri and Unahi, for example, Agerd as well, are the 3 biggest names that they've produced in the King Mohammed VI Academy. But this, I think, goes and feeds off all Moroccan football, really. And I think they've been very clever in developing that side of the game, so going with the youth teams and producing those young players. And then what they did very well as well, and Nasser Larguet was also a big part of that, to follow your question, is identifying everywhere the kids with dual nationality. So like Moroccan parents, for example, who were born in Morocco, but then lived in France, in Belgium, in the Netherlands, in Canada, everywhere really. And not so much trying to convince them to choose Morocco ahead of France or Netherlands, but to say to them, listen, you're 15, why don't you come to the Mohammed VI Academy? We show you the structure. If you want, you can play with Morocco under 16, under 17. That doesn't mean that you won't be able to play for your other country, but at least you can be part of the process and see how we do things. And I think it worked really well. Instead of waiting, for example, someone to be 25, like a Sofiane Bouffal, and not being picked by France, so then you say, hey, Morocco is still here if you want to play for us. Yeah. You go at 16 like Achraf Hakimi, for example, and you say, listen, that doesn't have, if you still want to play for Spain, you can, but come and see what we can offer you. And Hakimi came at 16 and he liked it and he stayed with Morocco. And I think this is very important. And what Regragui did in this World Cup, I felt, is unite this dressing room. In the past, I remember teams with a lot of players, for example, who were born in France, more than in this squad, where really it's only Regragui, Bouffal and Saïs. And it felt like they didn't really feel Moroccan as much as French, for example, or maybe people from Morocco saw them a bit differently because they were born in France and grew up in France and lived in France all their lives. Now with Regragui, it really feels like a team. And I think this is not easy to do, and it's a great achievement.